Right, welcome, guys. This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. If you tuned in live, go ahead and put your flames in the chat. Also, of course, let us know where you're listening in from. I have a phenomenal guest. Let me bring him out right away. Guys, put some flames for Bobby. Bobby's been rocking with us for the entire week. What's up, Bobby?
Not much, Junior. Not much at all. It's been a great week, by the way. I feel like we've touched some incredible topics, and I think a lot of people have made some amazing progress as well. I know some people hopped on calls, some people might have made some purchases of just different skill sets that they might not know they needed at the time, and they've got them now. So I think that it's been a phenomenal week. How about you?
Man, it's been an absolutely phenomenal week. It's never a dull moment in entrepreneurship, Bobby. Never a dull moment. Guys, you learn something new every single day. Let me just say that. You learn something new every single day. So Bobby, for me, the week has been different, but every week is different in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But good nonetheless.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited to hear some of the topics that we're going to be covering today because we've been taking a systematic approach covering certain topics on each day. So what do we have for them today?
I think today we're gonna just do a mixture of topics. In fact, so guys, check this out. Let's make today a little more interactive. So if you do have questions, go ahead, put them in the comments, and those questions could be about branding, about sales, about marketing, about speaking, whatever the topic, coaching. So let's just do a mixture today. Let's just do like a mixture, okay?
All right.
Yeah. I want to send a quick shout out to Travis the critic. I see you. I see Shade. And also everybody else who is looking. I see we have some people from the billion-dollar brand community looking. Welcome, guys. Don't be a stranger. Go ahead, put your flames in the comments as well. Put your comments there. Put your questions there. This show is focused on entrepreneurship, on every single aspect of entrepreneurship. So there's really no question. There's no question that is out of bounds, so to
Yeah.
speak.
I like that. I like that because we talked about Michael Jordan a little bit. And when you said out of bounds, that's what came to my mind, like the basketball court and stuff like that. And one thing I'd like to lean into early this morning is quickly the Jordan brand one more time, but I want to connect it to something else this time. I want to connect it to marketing. And I say this because I think a lot of people that follow us are experts that follow, billion dollar brand, what Shaan Rais has put together. They are experts in their field. So if you are a Michael Jordan and you're an expert in your field and you're using your expert ability to execute on the court and you're trying to brand yourself, what's the best way to market a personal brand when it is your execution that gets you notoriety? Not say, what you do, how you do it. It's really like your ability to execute. Is there an approach that an expert might want to take?
I think for a situation like that, like if you're actually the one playing, I don't imagine that Jordan is the one putting together the campaign, putting out flyers, doing this and doing that. So in a situation like that, I think you need a team. You need a group of people that can help you to market yourself.
Mm,
For the influencer, I think the influencer's primary job is branding. That is to create or to maintain the perception or the image, the public image.
hmm
So just don't do stuff that you're not supposed to do.
right.
Do more, do more good than bad, right? Things like that. And that I think that's the influencer's job. So do what you're supposed to do, meaning that you perform. So if you say you're an expert at this, actually be an expert at it. Actually be good with the basketball. Actually be good with whatever it is that you say you're good at. Don't do bad stuff, right? And you should be fine. You should be fine. And then your brand will build itself, man. Your brand is gonna build itself. And if you have a marketing team in place, then they're gonna help you out.
So this begs the question now, Junior. You're opening up a can of worms here that I think is good. So if I am supposed to be an expert, and I should be spending all of my time getting better at what I do, are there any negative effects on my brand if I spend all my time trying to say market and do things off the court when I should be getting as good as possible on the court? Because I have conversations with entrepreneurs all the time, and one thing they'll tell me is that marketing, branding, content creation, and the reels and all this stuff is taking up a lot of their time. And if the job of the influencer or the performer, the expert, is to be as good as at what they do as possible, how can they truly be as good as they need to be if they're spending so much time behind the scenes trying to market themselves?
Bobby, that's a great question. And my response to that is when you start off, you are not an influencer. Like,
Mm,
guys, a brand, like, really and truly, a brand, building a brand takes years to do. Like, when Michael Jordan got started, like, he wasn't the Michael Jordan that we know today. He had to do everything, I'm sure. And if you look at people like, I'll even go as far as saying people like some rappers, some famous rappers, they started selling CDs from the back of their trunk. Like, you have to do the hustle, you have to do the work in the beginning. And when you do the work and you put in the sweat equity, eventually people come on board with the mission, and that's how you sort of free up. Like Sean would say, you have to be able to do the work of 5 to 10 people before you could hire 5 to 10 people. So, like, for somebody who's just starting off, definitely do everything. You have to do everything. You don't have money to pay people. I'm assuming, like, if you didn't start off with like a golden spoon, or you didn't start off with $1 million in the bank or whatever, you don't have money to pay people to do that stuff. You have to do that stuff on your own, get the money, build a system, hire people to work in the system, and that's how it works. That's how it works for everybody. So you can't just say, "Hey, I'm this," and then sit down, you know, and
put your
think
feet
like,
up, start sipping Mai Tais
yeah.
when you do that.
Now, you know what's interesting, Bobby? What's interesting is it gets to a point where I'm trying to look for a quote here by Eminem. Eminem said something where it's not even cool to say I'm the best anymore.
Yeah.
So it gets to a point where you get so influential that it's not even in your best positioning to do certain things. So, for example, if you're in charge of the brand, it's not the best positioning to be doing sales.
Mm,
So you get to do so many sales that you get to a point where it's no longer cool to do sales.
yeah.
And then you could say, it's no longer cool for you to be posting. It doesn't look right. Like, can you imagine an influencer? Like, I'm not gonna say anybody's name, but an influencer who's at 9 figures, we can name a couple of people actually doing a Facebook post, like actually posting all of their content. That doesn't look right. Like, the perception is, if you're making all this money and if you're so successful, why can't you pay somebody else to do that stuff? Why do you have to do that stuff yourself? So then the positioning is not right. When the positioning becomes not right, that's when you start to give other people those things. Like, hey, it's no longer cool for me to sell anymore. It's no longer cool for me to be posting reels anymore.
Yeah.
Or, me writing emails. That doesn't look right. It's like walking into an establishment and seeing like the CEO putting down a like walking into a restaurant, seeing the CEO putting down a tablecloth or sweeping the floor. Like, that doesn't look right. So at that point,
That's good.
then I think you start to hand some of that stuff off. But until you get there, like, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. There's no other way around it.
You were talking about this yesterday too, talking about if it were easy, it wouldn't be attractive. We were talking about abs, and if everybody could get abs in an easy snap of a finger, it wouldn't have the oomph that it has, that just
Yes.
comes with having abs. And I think that same energy is tied to building a business. If building a business was super easy, it wouldn't have that same notoriety that comes with building a business. And now I'm starting to think the same about a brand. I've always thought that the toughest things to build are usually the things you cherish the most, like a family. Like, it's hard to build a strong family. But if you can build a strong family, a mother, father, kids, or whatever that dynamic looks like, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, like a real family, it's hard to build. But if you can build it, they have legacy long impacts on people and on the environment. So,
Mhm.
would you say that a strong brand can act a lot like a strong family? Like, if you build your brand properly and you associate your brand with the right other brands, could you establish yourself as a brand authority? Is that a terminology used out there? Talk to me a little bit about what you can do with a brand when you do it right, if you are taking the approaches that we're talking about right now.
Well, I believe the answer, excuse me, is like infinite. Like there's not like you can't predict. Like in other words, I'm gonna say it's exponential. It's
Mm,
exponential. So, and this is a great debate: branding versus marketing. Branding versus marketing. I think in the short term, marketing brings you more money. In the long term, branding brings you more money. Like all of the companies you can think of that got to $1 billion, most of them that you can think of, they're brands. So ask yourself, how many marketing companies do you know that are worth $1 billion? I just ask yourself that. I'll wait. And then ask yourself, how many brands do you know that are worth $1 billion? You can name Nike. In fact, trillions. Apple, Nike, Google. So brands make the most money over
mm,
a long period of time.
brand to
So
make the most
the
money.
question is, and I heard somebody say this, and it's Alex Hormozy who said this.
Yeah.
He says that when you scale, as you grow, you have to pay to acquire customers. The cost of client acquisition only goes up. So in other words, you only pay more to acquire customers over time, right? So you need something there that could counterbalance the increasing cost to acquire customers. And the only thing that could do that is word of mouth. That means if I do something good for Bobby, Bobby tells Victoria, Victoria tells Queen A, Queen A tells Travis, Travis tells Shade, and then these people go and they tell other people. Okay? So if these people go and tell other people, people come to me and I didn't have to pay for them. The
Right.
cost of customer acquisition is zero. So it's the only thing that compounds over time and gives you exponential results. So if with branding, when you build a strong brand, assuming that you do all the right things, you have a good product and all of that, people will tell other people. Like when was the last time? Like we have Apple devices, most of us. Nobody from Apple called me and tried to convince me to buy a phone. Nobody had to call me from Apple and tell me, hey, you need to get this Mac. Somebody else, a cousin, a friend, a coworker, somebody called me and say, bro, you getting something? You need to get this. You need to get a Mac.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what happened. So Mr. B was the one who said, hey, JR, you should get a Mac. Apple never called me. And so
Mm,
I got a Mac. So that compounding effect, now that's one person. Imagine 10 people, imagine 100 people, imagine 1,000 people, imagine 1,000,000 people all telling other people, hey, you need to go and get this. That is word of mouth marketing. And that could only be attained if a powerful brand.
wow. So what I'd like us to do now is bring that down, because I know we kind of elevated when we went into marketing for and branding, and we talked through, say, Nike, Apple, Google. If I am an entrepreneur in the startup phases of my business, first 2 to 5 years, I've got proof of concept, maybe I've made a few sales, or I've given my services away for free at least, and people have given me feedback on them. What is one of the first things that I could be doing or should be mindful of to help me build a successful brand? Because you've let me know it takes time. It takes time. So what I need to do is do the right things over time to build a phenomenal brand. Is there anything that I need to be thinking about at this stage in the game to build that phenomenal brand, or at least position myself to leverage that brand, because it appears, as you have broken down so eloquently, that I can save a ton of money on client acquisition if I do this branding thing right.
Oh, Bobby, 100%. Guys, we're gonna go to a short break. When we come back, by telling you stay here. When we come back, I'm gonna answer that question. Nobody's gonna see the answer coming. Guys, stay tuned. This is Breakfast with the Brand. Let's go.
That's great.
I'm just a kid from Harlem who God chose to show his favor. Themselves while improving the lives of others. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys, we're back. We're back. We're talking about branding right now. If you're just coming in, go ahead, put your flames in the comments. Also, put your questions in the comments. This is 100% live, right? So we will be taking any questions that you have. Bobby, before we went to the break, you asked me a question. Could you summarize that question again, just for the people who just came in?
Sure, sure. So we understand branding at a very high level. We understand that brands like Nike, Apple, and LinkedIn, they've all built their brands over time. But let's say we're in the startup phases. We're in the first 2 to say 5 years of building our business. And we want to have some of the benefits of having a brand, even though we don't have the time in the game or say the money allocated to building the brand as those companies do. So what do I need to be thinking about in the early stages in order to position me properly to grow and build a sustainable brand?
Bro, the answer is so simple. I would say give more than you ask. That's it. You want to give more than you ask. So if you're an entrepreneur right now, how can you give? So people are always asking for stuff. How can you give somebody stuff? Bobby, when I started, and I tell this story all the time, I started working for free for 2 years.
Wow.
Just giving value, giving value, giving value. I didn't ask for anything back. The first time I received money, somebody offered to pay me. I didn't ask them for any money. They're like, yo, can I send you something? Can I pay you? And that's how you make money. That's how you build your skill. That's
Yeah.
how you build your brand. You just give. It's as simple as it sounds. You give 4 times before you ask 1 time. Give 4 times before you ask 1 time. And Bobby, it was actually proven. Check this out. It was proven, like research was done, and it was actually proven that the people who give over time are more successful because when you give, it opens the doors. And this is in comparison to people who take. So there are givers and there are takers. The people who give, over time, they become more successful because by giving, right, they have that long-term compounding effect. And I know that's something you understand very well.
Yeah.
They have that almost like compound interest. They have that long-term compounding effect in the case of opportunities, in the case of recurring revenue or money. So they make more money over time because if I'm giving consistently giving to Bobby, if I get a job, if I get something that if Bobby finds something that could be useful to me, he's going to send it my way. There's the principle of reciprocity. So over time, I get more opportunity than somebody who's only about taking. If you're only about taking, when somebody has something, they don't send it your way because you're always trying to take something from them.
Right.
Over time, that opens the door to more opportunity and you make more money exponentially over time by just giving. So, give, I would say, if you're an entrepreneur, like people, how can I make more sales? How can I do this? How can I do that? Find somebody who needs your service and give it away. It's that simple. Find somebody who needs your service and give it away. Give, and don't give like and look around the corner like, okay, when's it gonna come back? Just give freely, and I promise you, when you do make that big ask, somebody's going to is going to come and they're gonna give you what you're looking for. Just give. So that's what I would say, Bobby. Like you have to give, find ways to deliver more value to your clients and eventually it will come back. That's just the way the universe works, brother. It will come back eventually. It may not happen in a year, it may not happen in 2 years. In 3 years, somebody's going to call you. They'll say, hey, I have a contract here for $100,000. I know this is what you do. Can you help me out? I
Right.
promise you, that's the way it works.
That's good. That's real good. Because most times when people are building their businesses, they build them to make money. They build them to make money. And I have found if you build your business to make money in the startup stage of your business, you're either going to quit too soon or you're going to grow very frustrated with the business and potentially take it out on customers. So, why do I bring this up? Because if you get into business to make an impact, you can do exactly what Junior just said. If you get into business to solve a problem, you can do exactly what Junior just said. If you get into business to do anything that is improving and transforming the life of your ideal client, you can do exactly what Junior just said. Now, if you get in business to simply make as much money as you can, as quickly as possible, get out of your day job, I want to let you know that that's not how it works. It won't work that way, right? It will, like I was talking to a class this morning and I told them one of the toughest transitions for entrepreneurs to make that are coming from the workforce is the employee to employer mindset. What Junior just broke down was one of the biggest differences. When you are an employee, you're expecting your boss to pay you for your time. For your time. You're expecting to receive money just for being there. When you are an employer or an entrepreneur, you're not paid for time, you're paid for results. So, what you have to do is you got to give, give. And the more you give, and the more you get results for the people that you're giving to, the brand almost makes itself. And I think it works this way because I think Shaan Rais would say this. I'm very confident. He would say, brand you, not what you do. I'm confident because he said it before, right? He said it before. And when you brand you and not what you do, you realize that you are a giver or a taker, not your business. So what I mean by that is if you are a taker by nature, if every transaction you engage with, you have to come out on top, taking the lion's share, your business is going to be a representation of that. And if your business is a representation of that, your brand will be an extension of that. So when you do this properly, you fix anything that's going on in here, and I'm talking at the heart right now, the morals, the values, the principles, you get all of that nice and tight. And once you've got that nice and tight, you then move forward into exemplifying your morals, values, and principles through your service. And that's the giving piece. As you exemplify it through your service, your brand then develops itself through you, who you are. And then as you exemplify yourself through your business, before you know it, you're looking at $1 billion brand if you're $1 billion man or $1 billion woman. I love what you put down there, Junior. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you, brother. Well, it's the truth. It's just the truth. Like you have to give. You give, and then eventually you receive. That's the way it works. So you want to give more than you ask.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say give until they ask. So give until they ask. And then I wanna shout out Alex Hormozy. Um, he's the inspiration for this. You want to give until they ask. That's it. And once they start asking for it, then you can charge. You charge, no problem. Because by the time you've already given the value, and check this out, Bobby. The compound effect happens with the audience.
Mhm.
It happens with the audience. So, like everybody here, for example, I see. So we can take the example of I see Travis, I see Shade, I see Queen A. These are people from our audience who they're regular. They're regular here. So we're pouring value into them. You know, I'm not asking for anybody to do anything, maybe except share. Once in a while, if you like it, share it. If you don't, that's okay as well. You know, but that's it. You want to just give, and that's it. That's it, brother. Once you give until people start asking you. Before you know it, you'll have clients. Find somebody who needs your service and give it away. Because by then you're proving that you could actually do what you say.
That is a perfect segue, Junior. Like I was writing as you were talking, and I was like, I gotta ask him about this. And exactly what you just said has to do with proof of concept. Guys, in my space, in the world of disruptive innovation and business development, we help businesses become businesses. But before we can even help you become a business, we need you to be able to do one thing. At least one thing we need you to be able to do, and that's sell a product or a service. If you don't have anything to sell, I mean, I'm up the creek without a paddle. I can have all the insights. I could have went to Harvard. I could have all the connections. If if you don't give me something to work with, then I cannot help you. And what I think is so powerful about the way this conversation is going this morning is that a lot of people are trying to buy something that can't be bought, right? They're trying to buy leads, but you can have all the leads in the world, nothing to sell, and you're still no business. They're trying to buy team members, VAs, and all these other people. You can buy all the VAs in the world, pay them all the money in the world. You have nothing to sell. You won't make any money. So when you give efficiently and effectively, I think that is the most efficient way to get proof of concept. Does what I give away work?
Mhm.
Does it work? And the moment you identify that it does work, you can hit the ground running. So this creates the question that I want to ask Junior. If I am someone that is looking, because I know that marketing is your expertise, I know that getting clients, leads, closing, like all those things in that branding space of direct marketing, that's your lane. So if I am trying to get my first unpaid client, yes, I said it, my first unpaid client, someone to serve, because check this out. Junior said very plainly, but someone might have missed it. He said very plainly, find someone you can serve. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to understand that that is one of the biggest things you're going to do for the rest of your business is find leads. So I'm turning it over to Junior to see if he can help us find leads to serve, even if we have no intention of charging them. How would we go about that?
Oh, Bobby, you open up a whole other box, brother. So let's talk about it. Before you can find a lead, you have to know who the lead is. Number one. So I'm not saying to give you some context. I'm not saying serve a random person. I'm saying serve the person that you intend to serve. Because check this out. When you do a profile, when you construct an ideal, or you're supposed to construct what we call an ideal client profile, this is an actual profile with a picture of a person with a name that has a journey, that has pains, problems, trials, tribulations. They have demographics, they have psychographics. Demographics would be stuff like age, gender, etc., how much money they make. Then you have the psychographics, which is how they think. So, what do they actually want? What are their desires? What are their pains, their problems, their challenges, their wants, their goals? What is their dream state? You don't know that stuff as an entrepreneur starting off.
Right.
So, what you want to do, you want to determine, okay, and I'll use an analogy just to make it simple, right? Let's say you want to serve, let's say you're in the gym space, right? And you want to serve, um, let's say, executives, older executives. When I say older, I mean people, and I guess age, you determine what's old for you, right? But people who are more matured, let's say seasoned executives with the desire to get back in shape. So then the question becomes, okay, who are those people? Where do I find them? So you have to know who they are. And once you know who they are, then you know where to find them. It goes back to the framework I gave the other day when I was saying, who are you best fitted to serve? What do they call themselves? So you have to know, what do they actually call themselves? Can they pay you? Number four, and what do they want? So let's say you want to move into the gym space, you want to serve seasoned executives with the desire to get back in shape or live a healthier life. The question becomes, where do I find them? Then that's when you go into market research. So can I find them on LinkedIn? So ask yourself these questions. These are a couple of questions that anybody from the audience could ask themselves. On what platforms do they spend the most of their time? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Number two, where are some of the places offline that you can find them? So people, they're so focused on online marketing, they forget about offline marketing. Can you find them at conferences? Are they at different gatherings? Are they at different, can you go to a restaurant? Can you go to an actual gym? Can you go to an office building? So where are your people online and offline? That would be the key, Bobby. But to really and truly find the lead, you have to know who the lead is. You have to know who they actually are. You have to know
Mhm.
who they are. And once you find them, then you just serve them. Now we
Wow.
can go the other direction. And I'll put it like this. Let's say you're starting off, you want to get into business. You don't know what you want to do. You don't know what to do. What do I sell? So not everybody has a product. I ask people all the time, what do you sell? They don't know. So let's say you don't know what to sell. What do you do? Well, I would say look around and ask yourself, who around me is asking me to help them?
Yeah.
So is somebody asking you to set up their Wi-Fi? Is somebody always asking you to, help them with, or to coach them? People tell me all the time, they're always asking me for advice. But if they're always asking you for advice, that's a sign that maybe you're a coach and you don't know it. So what are people always asking you for help with? That is a sure sign that there is a need there. And you need to take the time to develop that need into a product that you can scale and you could do for other people. Because if one person has the problem, it means that there are many other people with that same problem. I guarantee you.
Wow.
You could literally make a business going around setting up Wi Fi for, let's say, people who are not tech savvy
Yeah.
and just charge a fee. You could do business for anything, brother. You could make a business for anything. So if you know who you want to serve, the question of how do you generate a lead becomes a question of where do you find them, and that's a question of market research. They are present online and they're also present offline. And here's another key. When it comes to online, find an example of 1 to 10 people. If you could find one person that you think, or 2 or 3 people that you think are your ideal client, I want you to literally, and for everybody listening, this is what you do. You literally pull up a browser, you paste them into a tab, and you find points of connection. So how do they identify? So if you go to their LinkedIn profile, let's say you go to free LinkedIn profiles and free Facebook profiles, what you'll find is in each of those profiles, there are keywords that you see across the board.
Mhm.
So you might see, okay, Number one says he's a CEO. This one says he's a founder. This one says he's a president. Okay, boom. So all right. That means that they're high level executives, they're business owners.
Mm,
Number two, they have pictures. They each have pictures at the beach. Guess what? You know that the profile loves to travel. They love to go to the beach. That's something that they enjoy as a hobby. Boom. Number three, you go down, you see, well, okay, they're in groups. Each of them are part of different fraternities or sororities or whatever. So
yeah,
okay, they're members of sororities. So that's a key there, because if they're a member of a sorority or member of a fraternity, you guess what? If you go to fraternities, then you get guess what? You get more of them.
right, right.
they're literally like birds of a feather flock together. So where are they? Are they members of a certain group? Do they follow the same people? Maybe they each follow an influencer. It's not a coincidence. If they're each following the same influencer, guess what? It means that if you go to the groups with the influencer, that particular influencer, you find more of them. So it's
Yeah.
not as complicated as you think. It's all about having an investigative mind and taking some time to do the research. And I guarantee you, all of the clues are right there. You just need to find like 1 to 3 people that match the profile that you're looking for. And once you do that, you find different points of connection. Bobby, you ever seen like those different investigators, right?
Mhm.
When they're carrying out an investigation, they have like this big board at the back, and they're like
Yeah.
putting all of the little string and like the little pieces of paper and the string. That's what you need to do. You need to find 3 people, make your little board, whether it's online or whatever, and find different points. Okay, how is this person connected to this person? How are these two connected to that one? How's that one connected to these two? And eventually you're going to find different points of connection. And then I don't want to use the word extrapolate, right? But you extrapolate or you infer based on what you find about the first 3, you can predict something else about the next 10.
Yeah.
And that's how you do that.
Man, I know we have to go to a break, so I'm going to hold this question until we get back. But that breakdown has created some questions for me that I think
Oh
are
yeah.
going to help the group. All right.
Yeah, guys. And I want to hear from the audience. Like, what do you think? Like, what are you learning here? Put it in the chat. Are you guys learning anything today? I hope I'm breaking it down. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. Bobby's asking me questions that I would take with a client. I would take maybe a whole week to go over, man. But I'm trying to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Put some flames if you guys are learning something. We'll be back very shortly. This is Breakfast with the Brand. Stay tuned.
You know, there's nothing that you cannot overcome in this world except that which you refuse to fight. When I say brand, when I say brand and authenticity and being the brand, you gotta know your story. You gotta know your story, you gotta own your story, and you gotta be the champion of your story. It's very important that we control our narrative. It's very important that we don't allow anyone else to control our narrative, because when they control our narrative, they control our freedom. They control our freedom and our future. I don't just want it for me, I want it for everybody. It can happen, and it can happen for you, especially when you get branded like a leader.
I'm Jackie Miller, and I was really drawn to Shaan's personality from the moment that I did the Branding Like a Leader challenge. This was the free challenge that he offered. And I'm so glad that he offered it, because I joined the class and I was blown away. First of all, by his giving personality. For me, it was the personality that really drew me in. But then as he was sharing his wealth of knowledge, I realized that there was so much that I didn't know. I already knew there was a lot I didn't know, but there was so much that I didn't know. And he was just freely giving this information. It was evident that he really wanted to help people. And as somebody who likes to help people, that I connected with that. And then I was able to connect not only with Shaan, but then with his team, with Junior and with Jason, Mr. B, and just the entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond. One day, something had come up, and Junior he texted me just to see how I was doing. And that really touched my heart. So that relational piece is there. So if you were having any doubts about what Mr. Shaan Rais and his team with the brand can offer you, let me let you know. It is a treat and it is a joy, and you will not be disappointed.
All right, guys, we are back. Put it in the chat. What has been your number one takeaway for today? Man, Bobby, Bobby's asking a ton of powerful questions. Like Shaan always says, the quality of the answer depends on the quality of the questions. So I want to send a quick shout out to Bobby asking me these questions, man. People never ask me these questions, believe it or not. They never do. So I'm surprised. But great job, man. You're asking me these really powerful questions. And I think a lot of people they're getting a lot of value from it. I have a question. Like, what are your guys' questions? Like, what do you have? You feel free to put it in the comments if you have a question yourself. All right, Bobby. But let's go back to you, Bobby.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go back to you. Yes, sir.
So one thing that you said is I'd like to lean into it, an insight that I think a lot of people can appreciate. And then I'm going to follow that with another question. 2 insights that I think they can appreciate. And then I'll follow that with a question. So insight number 1, when you talked about the ideal client profile and breaking this down, ladies and gentlemen, service-centered versus money-centered will change your life. It will change your life, because what I see, so that was insight number 1. I would write that one down if you're taking notes, is service-centered versus money-centered. If you're thinking about how much money you can make from, all right, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more. I didn't plan on going this way, but I'm gonna give this to you guys because we're in the spirit, right? We're in the spirit of giving. So my background is in economics. Background is in finance. And in that background, we put money first, right? We put numbers first. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the things you need to understand about putting the right things first so that you don't get yourself caught up, right? So when we do a break-even analysis, meaning we say to ourselves, and everybody, you've probably done this. If you've been in business for more than 6 months, you've done this either consciously or subconsciously. You have sat down and you've said, I want to make this amount of money a month. And you've also said to yourself, in order for me to grow my business, build my business, get the coaching, get the courses, and get the systems I need this amount of money. So the moment we've said that, we figured out what our expenses are. And then we go and we tell ourselves, well, if I can just get this many clients at this amount of money, then I'll be able to stay in business. That's what we call a break-even analysis, right? We've all done that, right? But this is very counterintuitive if your intent is to organically attract leads that you can serve in order to get proof of concept. And the reason that is a counterintuitive approach is because the moment you say this is all I need, and I only need to make this much money, and I only need this many people to do it, you've attached a number to the body. You've lost sight that the person you're seeking to serve is a human being. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that's why they hire CFOs. They hire economists like us, because we don't see people. We see numbers. We make numbers do what they do. CEOs see people. CEOs see people. So when you're building your business and you come at this thing from a money-centered focus versus a service-centered focus, you're seeing numbers instead of people. And as long as you're seeing numbers instead of people, you'll never be able to genuinely serve them, because you'll never be able to hear the real problem that they have, because you can't hear what they're saying over the money that you have your eyes set on. So it's number 1. Number 2, start a business when you have runway, not when you're on the run. So Junior didn't say this blatantly, but I could sense it. So I want to bring it to the forefront. Organic lead generation takes time. He said you're pulling up profiles, you're looking at profiles. He didn't say it takes forever, and it doesn't take forever, but it takes time. And if you are in a position where you boom, quit your job, slam the door, I'm out of here. You threw up the two fingers. You're like, you're off to the races. I'm about to build a business. Ladies and gentlemen, you have zero runway and you are on the run now. What I mean by runway is when you have runway, you have a job. Like you have money coming in to pay your bills. When you have runway, you have a little bit of extra cushion to make some investments. When you have runway, you can make a bold, bet and be wrong and not lose your house. So build a business when you have some runway because it does take time. And that's all runway is about. Runway is about giving you enough time to get it right. But too often, I see people burn the boats, or what do they say? Burn the bridges, burn the boats with no money, no strategy, no team, and for goodness sakes, no product or service to sell. So the question that I have for Junior now, that we know we need to be service-centered, not money-centered, and we also know that the best time, in my personal and professional experience, to build a business is when you have runway and not when you're on the run. The question for Junior now is this, and it's both marketing and branding and business development for that matter. If the return on investment is equal to my speed of implementation, meaning if the quicker I get clients is determined by how fast I execute these strategies, what is the best way for me to execute these strategies quickly if time is of the essence?
The best way to execute on a strategy, bro, you just got to do it faster. That's it. There's no,
Faster, that's
just
it.
have to do it faster. Yeah. There's no secret. That's the thing. You have to do the work. Like if it takes, okay, check this out. If it takes you 1,000 steps to get to $1,000,000, you can start off wherever you are. You can start walking north. You can start walking west. You can start walking south. You can start walking east. You're still going to have to take 1,000 steps.
That hurts
It doesn't
somebody.
matter. It doesn't matter in what direction you choose to go.
Yeah.
Now, check this out. Check this out. Now, if we, and I know what, I'm going to answer the question in a different way. I'm going to answer the question in a way of, okay, and I'm going to give a sales secret here. How do you get to the money quicker? A little quicker. And this took me a lot of, and guys, write this down. This took me a lot of trial and tribulation to learn. So write this down. In sales, this is for sales. I've often said there are people that you know, there are people that your people know, and there are people that you don't know. Okay? So, what you're looking for in sales, and this is for anybody starting off, you need to learn about relationship management. But what you're looking for what we call connectors. Connectors. Let me explain the concept of a connector. So, I want you to imagine now we are one person. Everybody here is one human being, which means we have finite time, finite resources, finite energy. We only have 24 hours in a day. So, how do you scale your opportunity? By establishing relationships with connectors. So, imagine this, every human being, I imagine, can only manage a certain number of relationships at once. They say that we can only manage a certain number of friends at once. So that's why as you grow, you get more friends. Your old friends, you no longer talk to them. You no longer hang with them because it's not that you don't like them. You just don't have the bandwidth to manage all of those people. So the question becomes, okay, well, how do I manage sales relationships to scale quickly or to make money quickly? Here's how you do it. When you're prospecting, you're looking for connectors. Connectors are people that are connected to networks. If I'm connected to a connector, if I'm managing a relationship with a connector, that connector is giving me access to multiple people. So, for example, let's say Bobby has a community of 1,000,000 people. You could go about it two ways. I could market to those 1,000,000 people in two ways. I could market to them one on one, by trying to call all 1 million, or I could manage my relationship with Bobby, and Bobby could help me market to the million.
Mm, that's great. That's great.
So, so when you're prospecting, you want to literally have a list of phenomenal clients, average clients, and I guess, yeah, phenomenal clients, average clients. Your phenomenal clients are your connectors. Who is connected to other networks that could give you access to multiple people at once? You may know one guy who has a chain of 48 gyms, 48 restaurants. And if you're selling meat, he can put your meat in 48 different supermarkets around America. You managing that one relationship gives you access to 48, 46, 47 stores. That's sales. You didn't have to go and sell yourself to all 47 stores.
Junior, if I can interject really quickly, because you're on a roll, but I want to connect something for the people really quickly.
Sure.
Guys, this whole call, I don't think we've talked about like transactions monetarily, but maybe once or twice. And we're going on an hour. So, what I want everyone to take away right now is that yes, you need money to build a business, but you don't need a money to get started. You don't need money to make money. Granted, that's true in certain stages and phases. But like if you're trying to just get your first, say, $1,000, get your first 5 or 4 figure month, like you can do that with quality relationships, organic lead generation, phenomenal connectors. Like I just wanted to point that out. I'm not going to go too far into that, but Junior, you're really doing a great job of showing the people multiple ways to build a business using branding, marketing, and basic development strategies and techniques that don't cost a ton of money, but can put you in a position to generate money so that you can then catapult your organization to stratosphere, really, to wherever you want to take it.
Bro, my philosophy is this. I'm not, I try my best not to start a business with money.
Mm.
I'm not trying to, listen, business is money in. I'm not trying to start a business with money. I'm not trying to pay to start a business. I'm really not. I'm trying to generate money. I want to get money in the business. I'm not trying to take money out of the business. People like, I hear people talk all the time, like, yo, what business well, I started a business 2 years ago. What did you do? I Okay, so they register an LLC and they do this and they do that. That's money out. That's money out.
Mhm.
Before you register an LLC, before you do all of that, make sure you have a viable business. Make sure that you're making money. Then register it. It's okay. Nobody's gonna come and knock on your door.
Yeah.
Make sure it's viable and then register it. You know what I'm saying? And that's not just for that. I mean anything like software. I'm not gonna buy software. I'm not gonna pay no VA, nothing. I'm gonna make money. When I make the money, then I'll invest in the software. Then I'll invest in the VA. Then I'll invest in the lawyer. Then I'll invest, so I'll do all of that from the money that's coming in, not from, I'm not gonna take money. And some businesses, like you say, some of them do require a little bit of money, but it has to be something like $5,000, $2,000. Nothing like people spend 20K, 40K, 50K. No, 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 no. Either nothing, that's it. Nothing, 5K or nothing, that's it. But I'll try my best to not spend any money to start a business. And the reason is because business is about money in. Your money going out is money or business to somebody else's business. Your business needs money coming in. If you could find ways to generate money without spending money, that is the best thing for you. Because, and you do with accounts, Bobby, so you know that results in, profit. take the profit that you make, reinvest it into the business, and then that's how you do it. So
That's
that's my philosophy, brother. If I could start a business without money, that's what I'm gonna do, because it proves to me that it is more viable. Like, you have to be able to make money without money.
mm,
You
can you
have
make
if you
money?
don't know how to do that, man, like like, bro, like, I can start a business without money. You don't need money to start a business.
Mm. You know, and
Depending, and I'll say almost never, never always, because there's always an exception to the rule, right?
mhm,
But most businesses, most of the times, you don't need money to start a business. You need skills. So write this down. Skills pays the bills. Skills pays the bills. If you have the skills of sales, the skills of marketing, then you don't need money to start a business.
yes, I love that because I was going to ask you a question, but I saw that you were in mid thought, so I was like, "Oh, let me hold it." And sure enough, you crushed it. You crushed where the question was going. I'm looking a little bit at the time, so I have one more statement that I'd like to make, and then I see Queen A speaks
Okay.
has a question
Yes.
down.
Yeah.
So really quickly, skills pays the bills. I I notice a lot of people like major influencers will do the challenges where if I lost it all today and I had no money and my whole fortune is gone, what would I do? And I think that those lean very, very heavily into what Junior is talking about. So when he says skills pays the bills, the question that I think everyone should ask is, what skills do I not have? What skills do I not have? Because that's going to tell you what bills are not getting paid. You know, what bills are not getting paid. If you want to say have clients and generate revenue, that bill's not getting paid if you don't have the skill of closing, the skill of attracting, the skill of marketing and branding. Like, that skill doesn't, if it's non-existent, it doesn't happen. So I just wanted to hit that really quickly, turn it over to Junior to see if there's any questions in the comment section. But guys,
Yeah, I see we have one question here. Um, let me take this one. Queen A says, is there a certain way we should enter the group space, or just be ourselves and give value once we enter? Yeah, always be yourself. Always be yourself. Just be you. Somebody's going to love you, somebody's not going to love you. It's okay. It's all right. The world keeps spinning, right? So just always be yourself, 100%. Um, but is there a certain way you should enter the group? I would say so. I'll answer this question in two ways, in a duality, so to speak. So, number one, yes, always be yourself. Okay. But number two, position yourself. So, always be yourself, but make sure that you're positioning yourself. So, let me explain what I mean by that. So, positioning yourself, and I'll give you the example of this. There was one guy who messaged us. He messaged us based on a post that I had made 2 years ago in a group. I made a post in a group 2 years ago. This is when, we had just finished Branded Like a Leader and all of that. I made the post like 2 years ago, and he messaged us, I think earlier, either this year or like in December or something like that, from way back in 2019, 2020. And he messaged us, he responded. It was a direct response post, and he responded. So I think I said something like, put an X, or direct message me the words something. I don't know what it was, but he sent me the message, the words that I asked them to send me. He responded directly to the post after 2 years. That's positioning, because I put, and think of it like real estate, Queen A. Think of it like real estate. Like, your presence online, your website, your profile, your LinkedIn account, your Facebook account, it's like real estate. So you want to make sure that it looks nice, that it has a clear call to action. It lets people know how they could talk to you. It gives people value. It tells them, hey, if you want to book a call with me, do this. So I want you to imagine, if you go in a group, and let's say your subject is, let's say, staying fit. You're talking about staying fit. You just giving value, giving value, giving value. Don't ask for anything. Just continue giving value. Eventually, that person's gonna say, huh, Queen A, she's giving so much value. I wonder who this person is. Let me check out. Click, go to your profile. As soon as they come to your profile, there should be some kind of offer, something like a lead magnet or something saying, hey, if you want to learn more about my 7 step secret to acquiring or mastering your mental or your physical fitness, then click here or click the link down below. Boom, they click the link, they connect with Queen A. They say, hey, Queen A, I've been consuming your posts. I think you're absolutely phenomenal. How can we work together? That's called positioning. So enter the group as yourself, just give value, but make sure that you position on the back end so that when they do come to see who is this Queen A, and what does she look like, and what value is she giving, you're leading them down a clear path that leads them to either a calendar or scheduler or some kind of free value that they could learn more from you. So yes, be yourself, but yes, also position yourself as well. And I see one other question here, Bobby. Let me take this
Yep.
before we wrap up. Okay. Can we have an episode on MVPs? Okay. Okay, yeah. So by MVPs, I'm assuming Travis means morals, values, and principles. Tell you what, Bobby, if you're up for it, let's do it on Monday. If you're up for it, let's do it on Monday.
Let's go.
What do you
Let's
say?
go. I
All
think
right.
rules, values, principles definitely needed. Definitely one of my favorite courses actually to talk about. So I'm all for it.
All right, guys. So check this out. So there you have it. You asked for it. We're gonna do it Monday, but Monday's at 7 a.m. So it's not at 8 a.m. Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're about to wrap up. However, I do want to put this link up. Guys, today, Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be hosting the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5. So shout out to Sean. Sean's actually with Grant Cardone right now at one of the 10X events. Sean's doing his thing. Go check out his profile. I think Sean has been posting a couple of videos and pictures on there at the actual event. He was on stage yesterday doing his thing. He's a phenomenal speaker. So go out, check out the profile, follow the story. So in lieu of Sean, I will be hosting the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5. So if you want to have your questions answered, and this is over Zoom, then definitely tap in, come in. It's going to be today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be there to answer any questions. We're going to do a sort of mastermind style Q&A format. I'm not going to have a presentation. I'm just going to take your questions just like I'm doing now. I'm just going to answer them directly. So if that's what you want to do, if you want to get that information, come on www.livedeepdive.com. Also, my only ask, so here I'm making an ask. My only ask is if you enjoy the information, share it with one other person. If you know somebody who needs the information, invite them to come. It's 100% free of charge. I'm not charging you anything. If you want to buy something, we have a shop online. You can go online, you could buy it, or you could send me a direct message and we can hook you up. But apart from that, guys, it's going to be today, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tap in. So hold on. We have a couple questions, Bobby. Let me just get that before we roll.
Absolutely.
Where do we look the story up? Oh, go to Sean's profile. Just go to Facebook and just type in Shaan Rais, and then you will see Sean. Sean's always posting on there. So his pictures are on there, his videos are on there. He's at 10x right now. So go out, check him out, support him, comment, like, share. You already know. Shout out to Michelle D. Clark. All right. I see Michelle.
Yeah.
Let me see something. Well, it's not a competition, Travis. It's not a competition. So 10X has an event that they call stages, where they invite people to come on stage, and then, it's just a great place to connect with other speakers. So that's what Sean is doing. Obviously, Sean knows how to speak. Sean doesn't need to enter in any competition. So that's not what he's doing. He's out there making connections, building relationships, just like we're talking about right now. And I guarantee you, based on the value that Sean gives those people, some of them will convert and become clients. All right, let's see. All right. So people say they'll be here today. So yeah, if you want to know where you could cheer him on, definitely go to his profile. Just go to his profile on Facebook, and you should be able to see it. Okay, great. So Bobby, any closing comments?
No, just be there at 5 p.m. because anytime you are in a room with other entrepreneurs asking questions, you are bound. You are bound to hear an answer to a question that you didn't even know you should be asking. I loved those arenas and I still love them today because I'm like, I didn't even know I was supposed to ask that question and someone answers it. So I love the Q&A calls because you just never know what you're going to hear.
That's right. That's right. Guys, this has been an amazing show as usual. Thank you so much for coming out. Again, the only ask is if you've enjoyed it, just share it. So if you love it, share it. And if you don't feel like sharing it today, it's 100% fine. No worries. See you today. For all of those that are going to be connected on the Leadership Live Deep Dive at 5, I'll see you at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's grow.